The rain splattered against the windscreen before the wipers swiped the glass clean. Beyond, the car headlights picked out the narrow country lane, rolling out of the darkness, the high hedges on either side giving it the feel of driving through a tunnel. Rebecca rubbed her forehead. Another headache, probably due to the idiot who had spent the last 5 minutes behind her, his headlights blazing away in her rearview mirror, or exhaustion from driving non-stop from London. There was definitely no other reason for her headache. Okay, so she'd been having them almost daily since the accident, but that was no reason to go and see a doctor, no matter what Mark said. Rebecca felt a flush of anger. Mark should be with her now, paying the traditional bi-monthly visit to her parents in Chilbury. He had an excuse, of course. He always had an excuse. There was a crisis at work, and he had volunteered to work late to sort it out, as usual. The radio hissed as it lost signal for the world tonight. It didn't matter. Rebecca already knew what the news would be. It would all be about the invasion of Iraq. Rebecca twisted the dial for Radio 1. Approaching a sharp left turn, Rebecca changed down to second gear. She turned the corner to be suddenly confronted by two brilliant shining lights bearing down upon her. Instinctively, Rebecca wrenched the steering wheel to the left to avoid the oncoming heavy goods lorry. The left-hand side of her car went into a hedge, leaves and brambles scraping along the side. Her heart pounding, Rebecca remembered, too late, to apply the brakes. The front of her car smashed into the grille of the lorry, and the windscreen shattered into a million beads of glass. The next thing she knew, she was lying in her seat, gazing across a muddy field. She couldn't feel any pain though, which was a relief. Rebecca cursed herself. How many times had her mother moaned on the telephone about lorries using the village as a shortcut, even though the council had installed speed cameras? It was an accident waiting to happen, she'd said. Turned out she'd been right. Rebecca wondered why everything in the field had an orange hue, as though lit by a street lamp. A second later, everything went dark, before lighting up again with the same orange hue. The lorry must have activated its warning lights. Rebecca tried wriggling in her seat, but nothing happened. She began to wonder whether she might have been hurt after all. Outside the car, the orange light blinked back on. Now that was weird. About 6 meters away in the field stood a statue. The statue was of a young woman with coiled hair wearing a flowing robe. It had 2 wings. An angel. The statue stood hunched, burying its head in its hands as though crying. To add to the effect, rain trickled from between its fingers. The light blinked off, returning Rebecca to darkness. Why was she thinking about bonfires? And then she realized she could smell burning. The orange light blinked on again. Rebecca couldn't be sure, but hadn't the statue of the angel been holding its head in its hands? Because now it was looking towards her with blank, pupilless eyes. Darkness again, then orange light. The statue had moved closer now, still staring at her with its impassive, stony eyes. Its mouth was now slightly open, as though drawing in breath to speak. Darkness. Orange light. It now stood only 2 meters away, looming over her. Caught in the flickering glow of a fire, thick black smoke billowing around it, its expression had changed to a snarl of hunger. Its lips had drawn back to reveal rows of sharp fangs. It reached towards her with outstretched hands, its long fingernails like talons. But this was impossible, Rebecca thought. It wasn't moving. It wasn't moving.